So what happens in your brain if what you thought would happen, let's say you are saying, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, and nothing happens, how your brain observes that is effort doesn't work, reward is unpredictable, right? Safety, we'll talk about this, safety, important. No, it's not safe, that's not safe, and the future is not reliable, okay? No, none of this, the future is not reliable, nothing works, effort doesn't pay off, reward is unpredictable, pew, pew, pew. The amygdala fires off, unsafe, red, right? This is exactly how we have to break the cycle. That's why, my friend, just saying it over and over again won't work. Won't work. When people talk about prosperity, they often talk about money, manifestation, or mindset changes. But from a neuroscience perspective, prosperity has very little to do with talking to existence or positive thinking, but has a lot to do with how your brain links effort to reward over time. There are specific circuits in our brain that decides whether our efforts feels worth it, whether delayed rewards feels real, and whether the future feels trustworthy. That's what the brain cares about. So today I want to unpack what I am prosperous statement, not saying affirmation any longer, as you noticed. For a very long time, I'm using the word statement because these are neurologically for our brain very important to distinguish. What I like to unpack today is what I am prosperous statement really means in the brain and why saying it all over again alone won't work unless, I'm not saying it won't work ever, I'm saying it won't work unless your nervous system learns something very important. Let's dive in.
Welcome to my practical brain lab experiments on a calm, stable life.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Ayguen Sahin, and today on week 6 for the week starting off February 9, 2026, we are covering I am prosperous. What does it mean in our brain, and how can we train our body, train our brain so that we can actually live a life that is coming from our brain and our body, our life reflects that. So if you haven't already, download your neurohypersensitivity workbook every single week. On my channel here, we are unpacking the neuroscience of these great statements so that we can really train our body, our brain, and matching our life with that. So we are going systems diagnostic, then core assignment for the week, then we have intuitive insight for the week. We are continuing this for years. We'll be also integrating in that, and then the cognitive focus where we focusing on also for this week what's coming up. Okay, so let's get into it. I will dive deeper in today about prosperity and how I am prosperous, what that really means in the brain, and how can we actually make our brain circuits so functional that the result really matches with our brain, with our trained brain. And again, this has nothing to do with wishful thinking, selling thin air, manifestation. This is all nonsense, because on this channel you'll learn about the real science practically. That's what I'm all here for, to explain to you practically the science in a simplified way so that you can apply science, real science, into your life and make your life happen. Okay, so this is real stuff, and it works because we are talking about a real body, real biology. Sounds good? Okay, so I am prosperous is really one of those phrases that's been hijacked for a really long time. It has been often been framed as a belief, as a wishful thinking, manifestation, and somehow if you repeat it, money shows up out of nowhere. That's not how it works, because the brain doesn't work that way. Let me explain to you why. From a neuroscience perspective, prosperity is not a thought. It is, though, a trained relationship between effort, reward, and time. If you remember, we talked about in our previous videos about the reward system in our brain, right? This is exactly what this video is going to be about, a very more detailed explanation why all the effort and reward system is talking to each other so that the brain can actually make the prosperity happen. Again, it comes from our brain. So let's talk about then section 1. The neuroscience of prosperity, the brain state of prosperity. So in reality, to its core, prosperity lives in the brain in the effort-reward circuitry. Again, as I said, the effort and reward has to match so that something can happen in the brain and that reflects to our body. Again, the prosperity lives in the effort-reward circuitry. You have several circuitries, right? Multiple circuitries that we develop. All the videos that I mentioned, we developed. And every single week I talk to you about which circuitry we can develop. That's what the brain rewiring actually is, to develop new circuitry and leaving behind the circuitries that makes us sick or doesn't match our reality any longer. So we can build the circuitries even further. We can train our brain to develop these circuitries if they're not developed. Correct? So effort-reward circuitry. We'll get to that with the core assignment here, okay? So the very first key player is the dopamine system. And dopamine, again, is not about pleasure. We talked about this in the beginning. So the dopamine, especially from the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens. Okay, we talked about these areas in my previous videos, so I'm not going to continue with where these are located. Okay, so watch my previous videos. As I said, dopamine does not mean pleasure. It means prediction and motivation. We'll get to that. It answers the question, is it worth do it again? So basically, if you think about it, we talked about last week about dopamine, right? Last week we talked about I am love, right? And how love is not a feeling, but actually it comes from your brain, right? Again, the circuits, again, the same thing here. So there we talked about dopamine. And here, again, the dopamine is about, say, for example, the pleasure, right? The people who pleasure themselves with addictions. The brain, what it does is that it controls and checks, should I do this again? Because what will be the end result of it? Does it make me feel good? That's why the addiction comes in. That's why people, when they think about addiction, they think about dopamine. It's because the brain asks the question, is that worth doing again? Let's say if you do something and you feel great after that, like usually the people who are addicted to things, if they feel great, they say, okay, you know what, this feels great, I will do it again, and then again, and then again. This is how addictions plays a role in there. But here we are breaking that with changes to the prosperity. Is my effort matching to the reward? That's what's about. Okay, so we will use that circuitry. Make sense? So the dopamine system is good at predicting which effort will pay off. So basically we will use that dopamine system to create in our brain the prosperity. Because our brain, our dopamine system will check, is my effort bringing the results that I want? Okay? And again, if you pay attention to all my videos, right? Which system is then involved in that? Because we are thinking, even if you don't think that you're thinking, you are thinking from the prefrontal cortex. So the prefrontal cortex then is involved. From the prefrontal cortex to the anterior cingulate cortex. And the prefrontal cortex, especially the regions that are involved in planning, delayed gratification, and strategy. It's kind of like, hold on. Is the reward matching? Let's plan and decide and see where it's going, how to do it. So from the dopamine system, then it goes into the prefrontal cortex, because there all of the planning and the structuring and the checking comes in. So prosperity requires holding future reward in mind while acting in the present. Okay, this is the effort-reward system, right? That's exactly what it is. Seeing the future, holding it, but be in the present. Okay, and then which part of the brain is getting involved? Then the anterior cingulate cortex gets involved in this also. And what this region does, it tracks the effort versus outcome. Do you see how beautifully it's planned? We just need to know how to use it, okay? And I hope I am explaining this to you so that you can actually use your brain for real change and real results. And if you like it so far, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and follow every single week with me and do your homework as well, your assignments, okay? And when all of these three regions work together, it updates when the effort doesn't match the reality, then it updates itself. But when it does, when the effort and the result matches, which we will do here in our assignment, which I'm giving to you, it's actually I created for you a 7-day for whole week, a 7-day, and we'll get to that actually. I just want to tell you an audit so that you can download and you can start working every single day, because we will go over what that all means, how you will do the assignment, because this way you will train and you can actually make it happen so that the effort matches the reality and all systems checked, so that these three systems can update the behavior. So if the effort doesn't match the reality, the outcome, the body updates the behavior, it updates the behavior, meaning then you can get depressed and you're realizing, okay, nothing works, screw that, and you go in a completely different direction, and then you move into woo-woo people, right? Like manifestation, because nothing works. But if we can change, right, with the training here, every single effort, we can match it with the result, and then the body's behavior updates itself, because we are activating the three system here in our brain. Makes sense? Super exciting, isn't it? So we have actually control to our brain, and our reality can match finally our brain, and therefore the results. If he summarizes, and this is so important, prosperity is not blind persistence, it is actually an adaptive persistence, because it adapts to our behavior, our effort and reward. Never forget that. Okay, so now let's talk about number 2. Why saying over and over again these affirmations won't work? Why repeating the words won't work? And the reason for that is because our brain doesn't rewire based on words alone. Our brain, and this is important, rewires based on feedback. What's coming back? Never forget that. Our brain doesn't rewire based on words alone, saying affirmations over and over again alone. It rewires based on the feedback. So what that means is, if you keep saying to yourself, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, hoping and praying for manifestation of money, of prosperity, and your effort won't match that outcome, or your effort won't lead to that actual prosperity, that, as I said before, makes you depressed, makes you frustrated, screw that, nothing happens, nothing helps. And that, my friend, moves your brain in the complete opposite direction. I just mentioned that, right? So You have to understand, and that's what we do with our assignment. Download that audit. We will match every single day our efforts to our reward. And that, my friend, as I mentioned last week when we talked about dopamine, the long term in the brain that doesn't actually register the short, but the long term love. And here's again the same thing, the long term. And I mentioned last week about the long term investment. If you long term invest versus the high risk short sales, right, of the stocks or the investment. Now with the long-term investment, it's actually the long-term reward, right? And this is exactly what it is. Like you build up and up and up and up with every single tiny effort reward, and then it stacks up like a stock in your investment account. Okay, the same thing applies here too with prosperity. So what happens in your brain if what you thought would happen, let's say you are saying, I'm prosperous, and nothing happens, how your brain observes that is effort doesn't work, reward is unpredictable, right? Safety, we'll talk about this, safety important. No, it's not safe. That's not safe. And the future is not reliable. Okay? No, none of this. The future is not reliable. Nothing works. Effort doesn't pay off. Reward is unpredictable. Pew, pew, pew. The amygdala fires off. Unsafe, red, right? This is exactly how we have to break the cycle. That's why, my friend, just saying it over and over again won't work. And very important, a summary here, what you need to understand is experience trains belief. So what that means is, again, based on feedback, the brain registers the feedback. So once you experience this over and over again, this trains your belief system. Meaning, if I do this, nothing happens. If I say this, nothing happens. So also the same thing with religions, like with the belief of the politics, right? Your experience has a lot to do with your belief system. It shapes your belief system. That's why it's so important to pay attention to our brain so that we can actually build the life that we want to live in, correct? So that's also why the manipulators manipulate your brain, because they have that power over you, because they manipulate your experiences so that you experience what they put you in, and you get more frustrated, and you know, and you believe nothing works, or this is my reality, and then you start to believe in a completely separate thing, because the manipulator put you in that situation so that there's no way out, and you think what they want to think. This is a typical, literally, manipulation tactique by governments, by woo-woo, spiritual gurus, whatever, because, and I keep saying it, knowledge is power. Your brain is so powerful, and we have to really make sure that we and only we have power over our own brain, not the manipulators, because they know exactly what neuroscience is. Maybe not the woo-woo people, obviously, because they really don't understand that. They just do it in a way because they know also the reward, right? When I manipulate, I get reward, get much more money. So they also train their brain because their effort matches the reward, meaning the more I manipulate and just fake the crap out of people, the more I get money and views on likes and shares, whatever, money from my videos. And this is how I understand I should do more fake stuff. I should do more manipulation so that I can get more money. They are training their brain that way too. And they are keeping manipulating you so that they manipulate themselves and rewire, this is my effort and this is my reward. The more I fake, the more I get money. This is just Science! Yay! Science rock, guys. I hope you find this helpful. You know, I am just, as a scientist, I'm just so in love with science, so I just can talk all day long about this, you know. So I hope you enjoy. So now let's talk about number 3, how prosperity is actually built. Dun, 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 right? How is prosperity actually built? So let's talk about then a prosperous brain, because the prosperous brain does 3 things consistently. Again, consistently. That's why the homework, right? You have to do the routine. You have to keep doing it. I will link it below if you haven't gotten the New Year's resolution, how to make them actually stick, and my trick and tips for that. I have 2 tips how you can make your New Year's resolution actually stick and actually work. That I will link down below. You can click it and you can download it. Super helpful. And there's also my video inside of that, so you can watch my video on that. So it's amazing. So I highly encourage you to get that. So again, you have to consistently do it, okay? This is my workbook and my audit that I prepared just for this video make that happen as well. So the first is the brain invests in where learning is high. Skills, systems, friend circles, relationships, feedback-rich environments. That is number 1. The prosperous brain doesn't randomly hustle, doesn't chase after constant novelties, but rather it compounds efforts, as I said, compounding the efforts. Second, it closes the effort-reward loop. It closes the effort-reward loop. So what it means is that every time, if effort leads to any type of reward, clarity, progress, or skill. So the reward doesn't have to be money. That's compounding, right? So the effort, if it leads to a skill that you develop, or an effort leads to clarity in your mind. Oh, I want to go in this direction. That's a good result. Or if your effort leads to progress. Oh, today I had 5 items in my to-do list. Every 5 of them, I checked them off today. This is reward. This is reward of the effort. When that happens, my friend, then the dopamine system updates. As I mentioned before, it updates because it sees the effort-reward system and closes the loop, okay? So the effort and reward. And that, my friend, compounds over time. Third, it regulates threats around money and worth. That's, again, my friend, amygdala comes in play. The amygdala is, again, it's the safety. If it's a threat, if it's safe or not. That's what the amygdala checks, right? The fear, the threat, the safety, all coming from amygdala. And if money triggers shame or fear or urgency, then amygdala gets triggered. And when that happens, my friend, it comes back to the prefrontal cortex and then the planning collapses. Pretty sure you experience that from me 100%. If I have no fear, no anxiety, no urges, no panic, I'm very well functioning under stress. That's what I'm talking about. Let's say if someone is on my neck, really irrelevant to my work, somebody from an outside influence is on my neck, make me stressed out, nervous, or cause anxiety, fear, or I have, let's say, money pressure, paying bill pressure, these and that. So those things really block me, hinders me, and it literally, I get frozen. Because then I have to calm down myself first. That didn't happen years and years and years ago, but for the last 3 years or so, from everything I experienced, really my brain and my nervous system is out of a ride. That's why I created these programs, because these are the techniques that I developed, what works for me, so that I calmed down. And Amber, we did it together with my Journal With Me Challenge Part 2, where she literally also saw within 10 days, although it was a 30-day challenge, within 10 days, she was just like, okay, I'm like on fire. We were like doing this together live on Zoom calls. We were just on fire, okay? And then the last 10 days after day 20, we were like, boom, 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 our brain is in second in alpha state. We were so trained bringing our brain to alpha state, and then magic happened after that. It's just unreal. So you can watch all the replays in our Inner Royalty Circle. I will link all the links in my courses below, okay? So it's draigenshahin.com courses. So it's so important to understand that, because for me, once I'm off of my fears, of my worries, of my anxiety, then my brain, the creativity is like on fire. That I write grants, I write letters, I emails and reports, blogs, whatever. It's just my creativity is off the chart then. That is the safety. The amygdala gets downregulated and then the brain can function again. Exactly with me, this is exactly what it is for me, okay? So the fear has to be gone, the threat has to be gone, the amygdala has to be downregulated. And again, is it safe? That's what the amygdala care for. And this is evolutionary. There's nothing we can do. It's a great mechanism, actually. That's why you must watch every single, if you notice, if you follow me, every single video is going back to video 1. I am safe. There I talk everything about amygdala. You need to watch that. So every video you watch that number 1, okay? I am safe. So that's exactly when the brain has the threat, the fear, the anxiety towards money, then again, the amygdala gets upregulated and then the planning collapses or the progress collapses and then everything else collapses because the reward and the reward effort loop cannot be closed. Got that? All right. So again, prosperity as a summary here for this section, the prosperity requires a nervous system that is safe enough to think long term. Okay? So if we wrap up this section, the summary here is so important. So prosperity requires a nervous system that feels safe enough to think long term. Now, are you excited? So let's talk about our core assignment for the week. So I have created the Effort-Reward Audit. Isn't that excited? So the Effort-Reward Audit. For every single day, for 7 days, I created a section that you work on it, okay? It has 4 sections. So 1, 2, 3, I'm not going to reveal here, but the 4th is after you do 1, 2, and 3, then you come down to 4, which you repeat and write. So I'm giving sections that you can write on there. So it's a digital download, so you can download right now here. When you do these steps, then you come to number 4, and then you say, today I put in blank effort and the return was blank. Okay, so that's your assignment and we will train the prosperity circuits with it. Okay, so exciting. So now finally let's move to our weekly intuitive insights, where I pull from my I am statement cards, and we have once again our rune card. These are from my I am statement cards. You can get them on my Etsy store, on my Ko-fi store. Every single week so far, since the beginning of the year, we have a rune card. How unbelievably important times we are living in, okay? So first card is, and you write down, there's a section in your neurohypersensitivity workbook exactly for these 3 cards. You have a large section where you do your own interpretation for the week, okay? How do you experiencing these, okay? I do my interpretation here, but you, based on your own life, I put a section where you write down your interpretation for yourself. Okay, so the first card we got is, look at this, I am classy. Didn't this come out before in one of the weeks recently? I am classy. Number 2, I am classy. Number 2 is for me always relationships. 2 people, one-on-one interactions. We are showing our class. We are showing who we are. Listen, class is for me, so that's why I put this in here, so important, because for me that matters so much more than money or anything else. So for me, prosperity is also to show your class, right? Your class can be shown in your clothing, in your hairstyle, in your hygiene, right? How you take care of yourself, that's all class. So for me, simple things can make you also classy. One of the videos is I am classy. So week 3 or week 4, I think it was week 3. I am classy was one of the videos recently. So check that out. So as I mentioned there, how the neuroscience behind of it, but I also mentioned there, it comes from the inside out, from your brain out, from the inside, from your core out. Okay, so this week we are literally bringing out our class in our relationships, in our interactions one-on-one, and not falling in people's manipulation or anything. The reason why I say manipulation is literally because we talked about this. So something is going on, but we will not fall into this. There might be a connection with this, okay? We are not falling into people's manipulations or anything like that. We are showing our class because we have our brain we are using. Okay, that's so amazing. So number 2 we have I am beautiful. Like, look at this. I am classy, I'm beautiful. We are shining from the inside out, guys. Look at this. And this is 21. 2 and 2 1. 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. Do you see? When this happens with my cards, I get upgrades. When the numbers goes like this, for me, we are going up and up this week. This is, we go from 2 to 3, and this is again interactions with people. We are so beautiful, and people will see our beauty, will see our class. We are talking, we are interacting with our beauty coming from the inside. Oh my God. And people see our beauty and acknowledge our beauty. This is just so beautiful. 21, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. Oh, I love to see this. This is so nice. And look at this. The third card towards the end of the week. So I see this as the beginning of the week, middle of the week, and the end of the week. We have a rune card. My beautiful Viking style rune card. I love them to death. And they answer all the questions. They are so 100% accurate. And what came out was Tivas. That's what I need. I need justice. And you know, I mean, I link so many things down on the video, okay? Everything came up to the year. My justice class, get your justice back. My 3-step blueprint, my blueprint, getting justice on earth, justice from the heavens, and it works within 24 hours. My 3-step blueprint, I mean, this is exactly what I need. Justice, and it will happen. We got justice, sacrifice, victory. Look at this. Justice, sacrifice, victory. This is unreal, guys. Tivas. This is so amazing. And look at this at the bottom of the deck. And by the way, this is 78 cards plus I put my rune cards inside, which are 24. So these are 90 plus cards, right? And what came out on the bottom is I am hopeful. I am hopeful. 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. We are coming towards the end of a very important cycle where justice, where all our sacrifices will be rewarded. We will have victory from, I can actually cry right now. It's just so, as I just said that, the chapters are closing. Saturn will move into Aries. It's just so unbelievable times, okay? We are at the very end stages of Uranus in Taurus. Money, right? The final monetary planning and monetary actions, and this is why this is so timely, because no more in our lifetime we will experience Uranus in Taurus anymore. So this is your shake up, this is your wake up call, this is your shake up, because once in your lifetime this is the time, for the final time, to make your prosperity happen. And it starts with your brain, and this is exactly how to do it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 54. I am hopeful. Hopeful for the future, hopeful for our life. Yep. Oh my God. Didn't I just say Saturn? Didn't I just say Saturn? Look at this. Underneath this, I am responsible. 77. I am responsible. Saturn in Aries. Exactly. We are responsible. We know how to plan, how to take action. With this exercise, the assignment, we learn how to take action, make our life happen, to plan and be disciplined. And Saturn in Aries taking charge of our lives. Unreal, guys. Unreal. Unreal. Then finally, last but not least, we are talking about our cognitive focus, and we are picking from our either gratitude cards or success statement cards, okay? These are 44 cards each. I put them together, 88, and what came out was the gratitude statement cards, and on the bottom we have our success statement cards. Notice I created this 2 years ago, and I called them success affirmations, right? But then I created them this year and I changed them to gratitude statements. Do you see? Nothing here is a lie. Nothing here is fake, because I actually practice what I preach, okay? This is the proof. This is the proof. I never lie. I never lie. This is exactly the proof. So these cards, both of them, are based on my own life, and these are my own words, okay? No AI, my words, okay? What came out was number 26 from our gratitude statement cards. Number 26. And Amber got these two. Amber got these cards and these cards. Amber, I miss you. Where are you? So I am grateful that my intuition is strong. Oh my God, what happened? Did you notice I looked like this and then I just put away? I'm hopeful, right? And behind this was I'm responsible, and behind of this was I am intuitive. I am intuitive, okay? Neptune in Aries, and then Saturn moves in Aries. I am intuitive. 76. Okay, look at this. I am, and this rarely comes out, this card, rarely. I haven't seen this card for so long. Maybe now because Neptune is in Aries, because it says, I am grateful that my intuition is strong, my gut feeling. Neptune in Aries, I'm telling you. My gut feeling is always right. I am protected. Oh my God. I haven't seen this card for, I don't know, maybe a year. I haven't seen this card for so long. And this is 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. Again, 9. chapters are ending, guys. We are really at the very edge, and everything we thought this time until this time is absolutely right, because you and I, we are connecting ourselves with the heavens and our heart, our soul, our mind, and not get influenced by anybody else, okay? I'm grateful that my intuition is strong, my gut feeling is always right. I am protected. Justice! This is so my life. Oh my God. Awesome. 36, okay? Gratitude. And then we have, which is beautiful, at the bottom, I call them my rock star cards because they answer all your questions. Any question you have, you get answered by. These are almost like an oracle, okay? And this, oh my God, we have 54, okay? 9. 36 is a 9. Endings, and then 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. Reduces down to 1. New beginning. And this says 28. Every person has his or her own life path, own lessons to learn, and own way to grow. It is not my place to judge. Justice and judge, okay? So this means that when you come and interact with people one-on-one, show your class, and don't judge other people. Let's say don't attack them or don't get nasty with them if it doesn't match your reality or doesn't match your expectations, because understand that everyone has their own life path, own experiences, own things that happen in their life, own ways to grow, own speed to grow. It is not our place to judge anybody. So let's stay in our class, our very first card. Let's stay in our class, and that's, my friend, how people see our beauty. We are classy and we are beautiful, and because we are keeping people where they are, we don't engage, we don't get nasty with them if it doesn't match what we want to hear or what we want to happen. If people get nasty with you, maybe they have a bad day or a bad time or whatever, don't take it personally. Stay classy always. Okay, beautiful. So 28. So I hope you like this. That was it. And please let me know in the comments, how do you experience this? And let me know how you will practice and what the results will be after you practice every single day. And of course, it will be perfect time to get my Royal To-Do Planner. You can get this on Amazon. I will link that also below. My goodness, what a prosperous, right? Abundant and prosperous video this was. So many links you can click through and you can get all here to help you. So thank you so much. I will see you next week, because next week we are talking about I am successful. I am successful. After prosperity, we are seeing I am successful. I can't wait to work with you on that. So get your workbook, get your assignment audit, and let's work on this. And I will highly encourage you to watch I Am Safe video. Watch the I Am Safe video and also watch I Am Classy video right here. See you next week.